What is up, guys? Welcome to Log 2.0. Now, this is gonna be a place where I tell you various stories about, well, anything really. Now, in this one, I'm gonna tell you about the time I went to Europe. Now, this trip is 3 weeks long. I went to 5 countries: Spain, France, Switzerland, Italy, and Vatican City. So, on the very first day, I landed in Spain. Now, prior to this trip, I never really took that much attention to Spain. So, one thing that hit me right off the bat was that the fact that it's actually a pretty hot country. Did not see that coming. But I mean, even after that, I mean, it wasn't really a setback. I mean, but like after that bit, Spain ended up being a really good country. I got to see the royal palaces, monuments, all that fun stuff, and I got to tour all over Madrid and saw a whole array of artistic buildings made mostly by Gaudi, especially who also made the Sagrada Familia, which is in Madrid. So I mean, there's not really a whole lot to tell about that, but I mean, it did end up being a good country. So what I would say is that it's a good start, and totally would recommend. So now after that, I took a bus to France. Now, France is different than Spain, because I mean, first of all, it's a lot cooler. So that's the European climate that I'm actually know about, right? And people don't talk that much in France. I don't know why, but my first stop was the small city of Lodres, which, as some of y'all may know, is the hometown of Saint Bernadette. So of course there's gonna be the praying, the holy water in a bottle kind of extraction, the knick-knack shopping, all that stuff. So far this trip has actually been pretty good. I mean, but then the next part of this trip, the next part will literally be like the highlight. Like this is the highlight reel, right? Like just like all these things chalked up to all that, right? Now, I took the train from Lodres and arrived at Paris at night, and of course, studying geography for fun all these years, I know, like, there's gonna be a whole lot of lights, and I was really hoping I could get a nice view of the Eiffel Tower to take pictures and just as a welcome sign, really. And I got exactly just that. It's like right outside the train station, I took a bus, and the first thing I saw was exactly what I wanted to see. Now, of course, that just put a huge smile on my face. The next day, I went all over Paris. Now, I know what most of Paris has anyway, things like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Arc de Triomphe, and all that. So I mean, most of these don't come in surprise for me, like in terms of I don't know this or I don't know that, but I mean, to actually be there, experience it, everything, it's like, so I mean, it's like, and to top it all off, I mean, I went on top of the Eiffel Tower, and that's just an experience, So after that, I went straight to Switzerland. Now, in contrast to the rest of Europe, Switzerland is a very different place. I mean, first of all, I know it's gonna be hilly, mountainous, cloudy, cold, and underpopulated, but I mean, it really is underpopulated. Like, you can see a whole street and nobody's gonna be there. And so the first thing first night, what I noticed is that it wasn't as cold as what people made it sound like. I mean, in the movies, people were like shivering. But but there was one point though when it actually did get really cold, and that was on top of the mountain. Now, of course, that makes sense. I mean, I only visited one city besides the small town that I'm actually staying on, which is Luzon. If you all heard of that city. Good city though, but didn't really spend a lot of time in it. Now, the next thing, I mean, like, the next country I went to was huge contrast again, once more. So I mean, so far I assume Europe was just like this one continent of basically the same things, but really it isn't. It's like you got cold, hot, and all these things. It's like Asia. It's like when people think of Asia, they think of Japan and all this, but really Asia is this whole diverse place. Same thing like every other continent in the world. But anyways, I took a bus to Italy, and Italy, I mean, I know it's gonna be hot, but like I didn't like it was really hot. Like it was like, actually I would say, if unless besides all the running and all that, I would say Italy was the first European country in which I actually sweat, just because it's that hot. But it was all worth it though, because I got to see a whole bunch of places. I went to Milan, Pisa, Venice, and of course Rome. So now to see the reason, I think the reason I visited more places here in Italy was because each city quite literally only has one attraction. For example, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is literally like, I mean the whole town's alright, but then really legitimately the only reason people go there is for the Leaning Tower. And Venice, it was like a whole city. I mean, sure, I mean it's basically one attraction, but it's a big one. It's like island after island, house after house. And it didn't really appeal to me until I got back, that each of those houses are actually one island. So if you ever wanted a private island, that there's a market for that in Venice. Now, on my last day, I was at Rome by this point, so I toured the city, went to the Colosseum and all that. Didn't go in though, disappointingly, I know. But I guess the highlight for that last day would have to be Vatican City, simply because I got this thing for beautiful versions of churches and all that. So I mean, to actually see a church, I mean, it's not really a church, it's a basilica, if that's the same thing. But I mean, anyways, so I mean, to actually see the center of Roman Catholicism is just something else. It's like from the iconic St. Peter's Dome to all the frescoes, the collages, marbles. I mean, just like everything. And man, and to top it all off, this is literally the place where the Pope lives. So I guess that bit of information actually really got me pretty hyped. But I didn't get to see the Pope though. So, but I mean, anyways, I mean, that's it really. I mean, I went home after, and and been looking back ever since. So I mean, now it may look like this whole trip was actually really good. It was really good. I mean, yeah. But on the last day, I kind of nearly got mugged But that's a story for another day.